another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here, as always. And we got a jam-packed show for you. We got the return of LeBron James. We got James Franklin on the move. We might have Lane Kiffin on the move. And we have panic setting in right now, and I'm here for every ounce of it in Kansas City. I got to be honest. I never thought that the Kansas City Chief fan or the Kansas City Chief franchise would panic at 5-5. I really didn't see that coming. I thought they'd write it off as, look, we've been through the wars before. We're the best team in the last decade. We still have all the talent in the world, and 5-5 does not eliminate us from the postseason. I thought I'd get all that kind of rhetoric, but no. It starts with the fan base panicking. One of the biggest social media guys representing the Chiefs fan base actually is in full-fledged panic right now. He wants the Chiefs to tank the rest of the season so that they can draft Jeremiah Love, the rock star out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, running back, though, you tank to draft a running back?
Because, look, they're saying to themselves, clearly the Chiefs don't believe in Kareem Hunt, and Pacheco's been hurt.
Yeah.
Because with the game on the line just a couple days ago, they went 3 consecutive passes, and they had plenty of time to run the ball.
They did.
And people, once again, much like they were in Philadelphia, at the end of Andy Reid's career there, are now questioning Andy Reid, why aren't we running the football more? So Andy Reid was asked that question, as he was in Philadelphia a decade or so earlier. And Andy Reid threw Patrick Mahomes under the bus.
Did he?
I think I've got video for you.
All right.
Listen to this little snippet yesterday from his weekly gathering with the press from his office about why they're not running the football more. Go ahead.
They're calling quite a few of the RPOs. So yesterday they were giving us opportunities to throw the football. So we utilized the opportunities there. And those things end up being as good as a run for you. We're getting 4+ yards and you go with it. And but the runs are being called. It's just, sometimes they get turned into passes in today's world.
Stop it right there. The runs are being called with a little smirk on his face because he's taking a shot at his quarterback, who walked off the field on Sunday very, very upset, almost with tears running down his face, because he doesn't know what it's like to be 5-5. He doesn't know what it's like to be 5-6, but they're headed towards that with a tough game against the Colts this upcoming weekend. So it's not just that the fans are now in full-fledged panic, which I love to see. Imagine going from the cockiness and arrogance of, we're going back to another Super Bowl. We're going to win our 4th Super Bowl. We're going to catch Tom Brady. And after a tough loss against the Denver Broncos, you're now asking them to tank for Jeremiah Love? I love it. But then you have the head coach, Andy Reid, as you heard right there, throwing Patrick Mahomes under the bus. Look, I can only call the plays. If he doesn't hand the ball off, go find out why. I'm calling run-pass options, and it's supposed to be an option, meaning sometimes you hand it off, sometimes you throw it. He don't like handing the ball off, all right? So he throws his quarterback under the bus. And then you have Chris Jones, who's a Hall of Fame defensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? He's great, dominant player. And Chris Jones came out yesterday as well when he met the media. And he said on 3rd and long, where Bo Nix threw the pass, like 3rd and whatever it was, completed a pass in the middle of the field to keep the drive going to ultimately get the field goal to win the game. Chris Jones came out and said something very, very interesting about the predictability of the Steve Spagnuolo defense. Listen to this one. Go ahead.
Great film study for them, as they called it out. I heard them call it out. They actually switched to line. If you watch the film, you can see Bo Nix kind of switched to line. So they knew it. We got to do a better job at disguising.
They knew it. We need to do a better job disguising it. So Andy Reid takes a shot at Patrick Mahomes. Chris Jones takes a shot at Steve Spagnuolo, the Hall of Fame defensive coordinator. And what he's saying there, I'll put it into normal words for you, is that a second-year quarterback, Bo Nix, knew exactly what the amazing Super Bowl champion dynasty Kansas City Chiefs were going to do, and they audibled out of their play because they know that Kansas City's predictable. So let's just bring all this together now, okay? The fan base is in a free fall panic right now. Let's tank for Jeremiah Love. The head coach is throwing your all-world quarterback under the bus, and your all-world defensive lineman, it's throwing the defensive coordinator under the bus. If you don't think it's over, if you don't think it's a wrap, if you don't see all the signs, bomb, 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 that the Kansas City Chief run has come to a glorious end, then go get cataract surgery, because it's right there sitting in front of your face. It is a wrap. This team has never wavered on confidence. This team has never once shown a chink in the armor where you say to yourself, oh, maybe they no longer believe in themselves. And now you've got it on full display. And the best part of it is that long-standing Chiefs fans have seen average football for a lot of years. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes changed that when they drafted him, and Andy Reid changed that, and Steve Spagnuolo changed that. But in your core, in your DNA, as a Chiefs fan, you are an average person rooting for an average team. And when it's all said and done, we all end up exactly where we're supposed to be. Winners win, losers lose, and average people are right in the middle. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got to tell you, I didn't see this happening this early. I thought maybe week 17, a bad loss, maybe like to the Raiders or something like that, that knocks them out of the playoffs, that the city of Kansas City would go full-on panic, that they'd start taking shots at each other, because that's what average and losing teams do. But I really did think that the Chiefs were above it. I didn't think they'd win a Super Bowl this year, but I thought that all that success, all that cockiness, all that arrogance, they were above this. This is for guys like me, a Jet fan. Prior to your little win streak here in the last 7 or 8 years, this was about you, Philadelphia Eagle fans, who did not have a lot of success for a very long time. And the fact that now I'm now watching the Kansas City Chief fan implode and seeing players taking shots at coaches and coaches taking shots at players, man, that's familiar to me. I know what that looks like. I know what that smells like. I know what that tastes like. And I can't get enough of it.
I can't help but put most of this blame on Patrick Mahomes. And here's why. The last 3 games, he's thrown 4 picks. Now, if we're going to compare him to Brady.
And they were driving for a touchdown when he threw the bad pick against the Broncos.
Right. Now, he's still a very good quarterback, but, and that's why I think Andy Reid said it publicly, because he's probably said it a lot privately and it hasn't worked. He's not playing at that razor's edge top level. And this team, because of how much he makes and Kelsey and Jones makes, they can't exist. They cannot succeed without him being truly great. And he's still been a good quarterback, and he still gets his yards, but he's sloppy. He's turning the ball over. And I think it's really, if this season's going to implode, you're going to have to now look at Mahomes.
I'm going to stop you there. Not going to implode. It's already imploded. And by the way, if you guys could do a quick fact check for me, when's the last time, maybe you can do it, Tyrone, when's the last time the Kansas City Chiefs had a single person run for 100 yards? When's the last time? And to take your time, I know I threw that at you. Maybe during the quick break we have coming up, someone can answer that question for me. And it'll prove the point that, with the fans, why the fans want to tank for, look, Jeremiah Love is awesome. And A is a great kid, B is a great back, right? And he's a game changer. So I understand why every team is going to want Jeremiah Love. He's obviously not going to go first because he's not a quarterback, right? He's not a left tackle, but he's a great football player. But the fact that we didn't get to Thanksgiving yet, all right, and you now have a fan base that's in complete panic mode. Oh, it's great. Now, I was just told in my ear from downstairs, our producing team's downstairs here, that the last time the Kansas City Chiefs had a 100-yard rusher, say it again? November 4th last year. Right. So we've now gone over a year.
Over a year.
Over a year. The Kansas City Chiefs have not had a single guy rush for 100 yards or more in over a year. The fans aren't wrong. Run the damn football. Kareem Hunt was averaging 5 yards a carry, and you threw the ball 3 straight times. It doesn't make sense, but that's what cockiness and hubris and attention being paid to a restaurant and not a football team gets you. And I'm here for all of it. Let's get going.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In the 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I bet he couldn't get up to 40.
You really, it was you that did it. I mean, this Rodriguez should have been the bell cow in the second half. Couldn't even get a touchdown. Like, if he scores, I'm good. You put this Krusky Merritt in.
I'm not.
It's like you bought something at the dollar store. That's this guy Krusky Merritt.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. There was a football game last night. Not a great one, but the Raiders were playing, so what do you expect? They've got the worst starting quarterback, arguably in all football, in Geno Smith. Pete Carroll, love Pete Carroll, great guy. He won a college. He won at the pros, all good. but the game has clearly passed him by. Can we all agree with that now with Pete Carroll? Some of the decision-making they have out there is mind-boggling. And yes, Geno Smith stinks. The fact that they gave him $100 million thinking he was the answer off what he did in Seattle last year, I said in the time was crazy. It is crazy. And Geno Smith, good for him. He got the money. I don't begrudge that at all. But Geno Smith's a bad quarterback. But I was thinking a couple things just watching the game last night. Like, you know, sometimes I think networks take us for granted. And the things that we find interesting and the things that we want. Like the average American busts his ass working a 9 to 5 for about $45,000-$50,000 a year, right? Mm-hmm. And that average American comes home. He wants to see his wife, give her a kiss hello, say hi to his kids, eat dinner, crack open a beer or two, put his ass on the couch, and relax for a couple hours and enjoy 3 hours of NFL football. It's entertainment for us, okay? Last night was morbid. If you watch the opening of the broadcast last night on ESPN. Now, the first thing they did, which I do respect and they had to do, and they should have done, was acknowledging the loss of a Dallas Cowboy player who unfortunately took his own life a week ago, okay? So totally respect that, totally understand that. Moment of silence and acknowledgement, 100% across the board, and every team did it, by the way, in the NFL, and I'm obviously very sensitive to that, and I applaud them for doing it. And then they acknowledged that an ESPN staffer, I think it was, also passed away, and I feel terrible for her family and the loss that they're suffering, but like we're starting a football game, and I want to be entertained. And I don't know the family. I don't know the gal. And again, I feel terrible for the family, but it seemed a little odd to me that that's how we're starting. And then they went into the loss of the band leader for the Jimmy Kimmel show. And again, terrible loss. I know he's a lifelong friend of Jimmy Kimmel's, and I totally respect why, you know, that's a heartfelt thing that ABC wants to do for its late night star. But man, I'm on the couch with a hand on a beer as a regular American working 9 to 5, and I want to be entertained. I want to see football. I want to see grown men run into each other at fast rates of speed and hurt each other. I want to see touchdowns and tackles and all the things that football brings us, right? And like if you just sat on the couch like, all right, let's go, fellas. Time for some NFL football. And it was one after another after another. And I'm saying to myself, again, I respect what all these people are going through, their families are going through, their friends are going through, and I'm not going to be a bad guy. And I'm sure it meant a lot to them that they were acknowledged. But to the 20 other million people watching the game last night, like, why do I need to have a moment of silence for Jimmy Kimmel's band leader, who I respect, was a lifelong friend, and I understand his pain. I get it. I know the funeral was on Saturday, and I respect what he's going through. But guess what? Jimmy Kimmel did a show last night. He didn't take the day off to mourn the loss of his friend and band leader, right?
He talked about it on the show.
I may never watch a Jimmy Kimmel program. I'm here to watch football. The first one was expected and on point because a Dallas Cowboy teammate took his own life. That should have been done. I'm glad it was done. The other two, again, all due respect. I know I come across like a bad guy with this, but like I'm not turning on the television to watch a funeral. I'm not. I'm not turning on the television. Now, if you told me, you know, that I don't want to even give out fake names or anything like that, it just seemed weird. And again, if you're mourning the loss of someone that works for your company, I respect that. And I'm not going to tell you how to mourn or deal with that loss. I respect that greatly. But you're not broadcasting to that particular person's family alone or to Jimmy Kimmel alone. You're broadcasting to 20 million Americans last night who just want to see some damn football. And I don't want to be a bad guy because I'm not a bad guy. But maybe there was like, the game was a blowout. In the fourth quarter, you could have been like, hey, since it's a blowout, we want to acknowledge that, you know, ESPN, ABC lost a member of its family. Totally respect that. Or, with 3 minutes to go in the game and the game has already been decided, after the game, it's the Jimmy Kimmel Show. And by the way, want to send our respects and, thoughts out to Jimmy and his family for losing their band leader. Like, there's a different way to do it. Like, I thought the anthem was great.
Yeah.
I always forget their names, the couple. It's like Strong Horse and Billy or something like that. They have that.
I didn't watch that.
Oh, the anthem was dope. The anthem was awesome. Can you guys tell me who sang the anthem? It was like Strange Horse and Veronica or something.
Strange Horse and Veronica. There's no way that's the name.
They got a duet with Zach Bryan. Take me down the road, I'm a little bit wiser. Yeah. The dude's named after like a horse or something.
There's no way that's right.
Yeah. Can you guys tell me who sang the anthem last night? Because,
It's War and Treaty.
Well, that's pretty close.
No, there's no horse. War and Treaty. The heavy-set black people sang it.
Yeah,
War
but
and Treaty.
they were awesome.
Yeah, they're good
I know them
singers.
well because they have a duet with Zach Bryan, the country music star.
Yeah, they're country.
So what? The horse and the treaty?
War.
Oh, War.
War.
That's a weird name for people.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
Like
they
you
also
think-
do the diabetes commercial.
You think on his birth certificate it says war?
No.
And hers says treaty?
No.
It probably does.
No,
right?
he picked war and she picked treaty, which is now that part is weird because what is the thinking behind choosing a name like that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this: they can sing their asses off.
They can sing, yeah.
I've seen them in concert as well. I love them. I can listen to them. They can sing me to sleep all night, every night. So now, let me get to the Dallas Cowboys real quick. I only got a minute left, okay? So the Cowboys are 4-5-1 now, right?
Yeah.
And as they're on the war and treaty. Like, come on. Like,
War. What
is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Dallas right now is on the outside looking into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they have the Eagles coming up this weekend. So obviously that's a huge game for them. If they can beat the Eagles and get to 500, then their playoff hopes are very much alive. They cannot win the division, obviously.
No.
Because the Eagles have that pretty much locked up, sitting there at, 8-2?
Yeah.
But they can tickle the ivories a bit on that last wild card spot.
Yeah.
Because right now the last spot goes to San Francisco at 7-4. They have Carolina, which is a tougher game now than we probably thought it was.
It is.
But if Dallas can find a couple wins here in the next 3 weeks, the Cowboys will be alive for the wild card. So do not sleep on Dallas just yet.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heady stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. We don't do a lot of college coach talk on the show because it's boring, but I thought yesterday was fascinating. I'll start you off with Lane Kiffin, who obviously is killing it at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss obviously wants to keep him, rightfully so, but you've got the Florida job and the LSU job that is open for him. So I guess LSU yesterday flew him in on a private jet, and there were some diehard LSU fans scoping out the private jet terminal.
Yeah.
And caught him in a disguise of some kind.
Yeah.
Arriving there with his family, or at least his wife. I'm not sure if the kids were there as well. For an interview with LSU.
Now, the wife and kids have already taken a separate trip to both Baton Rouge and to Gainesville, where he grew up, already in front of him.
Gotcha. So, look, it's no secret that Lane Kiffin is the hottest coach in the country when it comes to other opportunities. As you know, I've been a Lane Kiffin supporter for a very, very long time.
You have?
He could basically get any job he wants because of the success he's had throughout his career, now the obvious success he's having at Ole Miss. I'm one of those guys that thinks, the grass isn't always greener, and you should stay right where you're at because Ole Miss can't compete. Ole Miss has money for NIL, and he's just got a great fit there, and I love watching him on the sideline at Ole Miss. That being said, there are other programs, and Florida and LSU historically are two of those programs that it's very hard to say no to because they have all the resources in the world, and you figure you have a chance to play for a national championship, at least historically. Like going back to the Steve Spurrier days, obviously.
Yeah.
Going back, to all the success LSU has had, et cetera.
Every coach until Brian Kelly had won a national championship at LSU.
At LSU.
Yeah.
So he goes in there, and I was talking to a dear friend of mine who's a big LSU guy from New Orleans, and I texted him, I said, look, you got to make him the hotel offer. And the hotel offer is, we're going to give you an obscene amount of money that no one else is going to match, which they have the ability to do. But you have to sign it before you leave the hotel. If you walk out of your hotel room without signing the piece of paper, the deal no longer exists. It can't be one of those, I'm going to shop the deal, I need to talk to people. If you want to be our coach, here's the piece of paper, here's an ungodly amount of guaranteed money, take it or leave it now. You could spend the night if you want, which obviously he can because he's got to go back to Ole Miss. Take it or leave it, right? Now, he is not yet, as far as we know, physically gone to Florida, probably doesn't have to. He knows the facilities, knows the program very, very well. So it's interesting now that LSU is going all in, as they should, by the way, for the hottest coach in the country. I think he should stay at Ole Miss, but I would totally understand how the LSU job is very hard to pass on. And by the way, Florida as well, based more on history than recent days. Okay?
And also home, though. Monty Kiffin is looming large right now. When he was there with Tampa, that's home for him. Does he want to go back to where he grew up?
Fair enough. Look, having traveled a lot in radio, I respect someone betting on themselves, saying, I've done it everywhere else. I want to do it here, too. And I think he is that guy. He's a bit of a gambler. So my gut is he probably leaves Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is now sitting there saying, we're giving you a deadline. Because we are not being played.
He's got 10 days.
We're not patsies. We're giving you a week and a half, essentially Thanksgiving weekend. We want to know if you're going to take the job, good luck to you. We wish you the best. But if you don't let us know by then, that's a wrap. So I think that's fair also.
Yeah, for sure.
We know that you're being courted. We know that you're going to consider it, and we understand why. We want you to stay. We're willing to pay you to stay, but you got to make up your mind by November 28th, I think it is.
Yep, 10 days. Yep, the 28th. On Black Friday. Yep,
and that's
Black
it.
Friday.
So on Black Friday, you're either staying at Ole Miss, and here's your new deal, or you're going to LSU or Florida, and we wish you well. Period. Stop. The other job, though, that happened yesterday fascinates me because of the inbred weasels that go to Virginia Tech and live around Virginia Tech, okay? So Virginia Tech was all in, all the chips in the middle of the table to go get James Franklin, the former embattled head coach at Penn State. There's not another school in the country that picked up the phone and called James Franklin and wondered if he'd be interested in being their head coach. Not a one. So you have Virginia Tech competing against nobody, essentially competing against themselves. And they're all happy, happy, happy. They got James Franklin. And congratulations, James Franklin is a good coach.
He is.
But think about this. Normally, when you get all pumped up about a hire, it's you're going after a guy like Lane Kiffin. You're going after a guy that's been uber successful, that's going to come to your program and overnight change it for the better. Normally, it's a younger guy at a smaller school or conference who's made his bones and he's ready for the big time, right? In this case, you're taking a guy on the way down. A guy that was 4-21 against top 10 teams. A guy that was winless on the road against top 10 teams. A guy that never won a title. A guy that was 500 in bowl games. But good for you, Virginia Tech. You got a guy to make a major step down from the Big Ten to the ACC, where he has zero chance of recruiting the best players and zero chance of ever winning a national title. So congratulations. You got the guy that nobody else wanted. Let's have a parade while we're at it, you inbred weasels. Ugh.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. Like, I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? You know, it'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
That was the whole point of expansion. Yes! Why are we talking about 16 and 24 if we're not talking about the group of fives, Donnie?
We need to make it 24 teams or 32 because the way you have it set up right now, run it through a computer, kick out all the group of. We don't need a group of 5 team ever. They're never going to compete.
But USF
They're
beat
never.
Florida.
Yeah.
They beat Florida.
Well, how many wins Florida got?
What do you?
Yeah, exactly.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Players behind the scenes who complain about Hurts's unwillingness to throw through tight windows against zone coverage. I told you Friday, Kevin, that Jalen Hurts takes the path of least resistance. He holds on to the ball. He doesn't like making those tighter throws. Though he loves making deeper throws, which it's interesting. Over 20 yards, he's one of the best in the National Football League.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here, Tyrone Johnson. There's something brewing in Philadelphia, and it ain't good, folks. Seth Joyner's a former all-star, all-pro linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, friend of the show as well. And he's doing some sports talk in Philadelphia now. And he's not a guy that minces his words. He tells you the way he sees it. No, you don't have to agree with him, but he's one of those guys that he don't give a damn what you think about him.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like Seth Joyner a lot. In any event, Seth Joyner, I saw a podcast he was on yesterday, and he says, I guess he does a show with what he refers to as an Eagles insider, but he didn't name the person.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who the person is, nor do I care who the person is. Seth Joyner's got credibility when he talks about the Eagles having played for them. And, of course, he's, I guess, does a show with some guy who's regarded as an insider for Philadelphia. And Seth Joyner came out yesterday and said that there is both a problem in the locker room from the players towards Jalen Hurts and a consternation from the owner towards Jalen Hurts. And I would have dismissed this if it wasn't Seth Joyner or some talk show hack looking for clicks, that kind of thing. That's not who Seth Joyner is. To me, he's not. Maybe you know better and what he does better from a professional standpoint. I just remember him as a player, and he's been a friend of mine on shows, throughout the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. So if you have something to say about Seth Joyner, we'll give you a chance to say that in just a second. But if Seth Joyner, an alleged Eagle insider, is telling you that the team is turning on Jalen Hurts, number one, I find that fascinating because I would put Jalen Hurts up against every quarterback pretty much in the NFL. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. I'd put his stats up against virtually every other quarterback in the NFL. And my ire would be towards Kevin Patullo, the new offensive coordinator, not towards Jalen Hurts. But if the owner's now upset with Jalen Hurts, and according to Seth Joyner, dudes in the locker room are now upset with Jalen Hurts, maybe there's something going on.
Here's the deal with that. Seth Joyner does have credibility, but he is the most negative person I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
By a wide
Like
margin.
he's an anti-Eagle type of guy,
Well,
like or throw pokes at him?
It's if you win 40-0, it should have been 50-0.
Got
There's
it. Okay.
always something.
Okay.
Here's the part that is true.
Go.
Okay. Jalen Hurts' personality is difficult for some people.
Because he's quiet?
No, because he only cares about one thing, and he really lives it.
Winning.
Just winning.
Which I would think all of us would want from our
But the thing is,
quarterback.
yes, but
Go
in
ahead.
practice, when you're going through something, you know what Jalen Hurts is thinking about? Winning.
Right.
If you're going through something, this, that, whatever it is, when you're up there, you know what Jalen Hurts is thinking about?
Winning.
Winning all the time. And for some people,
Hold on. So you're saying that I want to make sure I don't want to put words in your mouth. That because his sole focus is winning a game, no matter how.
No matter
if
how.
it's me handing it off, great. If it's me throwing it, great. If it's the defense, whatever. Special teams, 7-6, 40-0, don't matter.
Don't matter.
As long as we win, let's move on to the next. My stats don't mean anything to me. The only thing that matters is a W over an L. And other people in the organization have a problem with that?
because as a human, he also doesn't care about your stats. So let's say you're a pending free agent, and you need those touches to get your money.
Sure.
You know what he's thinking about? Winning. Only winning. And when you try to get him to give a little bit, he's not. He's rigid that way, and some people love it. In a 53-man room with 52 other guys, there will always be 10 to 15 that say that guy's weak.
I find that fascinating because you have won, right? You just won a Super Bowl. You went to another Super Bowl with him as a younger player, obviously, and damn near beat the Kansas City Chiefs if not for the officials helping Kansas City out. And he is connected to the Jordan brand, as we know quite famously, right? And they did those sweatshirts or T-shirts afterwards. Love Hurts.
Sold like
right?
crazy.
Sold like crazy. And to me, as a guy that's never had a dude like that on my favorite team or a talent like that, I would sign up for Jalen Hurts, as a lot of teams would, I think. Twice on Sunday, every day of the weekend, twice on Sunday.
That's
I
right.
get that eventually.
That's right.
That fascinates me. That's such a loser mentality. Like, hey, it's great that we won, but I only had 3 targets. That's like an A.J. Brown type thing. Now, A.J.'s got his money, so he's not looking for a new contract. He's good financially. Devontae Smith's gotten paid. Saquon's gotten paid. Like, the big guys have gotten their dough. The offensive line, I pretty much has been all paid.
Yeah, left tackle, left guard,
So what are people bitching about?
But the other part is people also want to feel like they contributed. And this is where Jalen Hurts could give just a little bit. After the game, you want to feel like everybody played a role in it. And Hurts does not entertain those kind of things because he's
great,
laser focused on winning.
Like, to me, that's why you won a Super Bowl. And look, I know if I put his yards up right now, the guys brought it up, it's not close to being in the tops of the league.
No way.
But they only got 2 losses. I know they weren't pretty when they beat Green Bay.
But they won.
This game, last week, a couple days ago, wasn't pretty.
But the Lions were scoring 30 points a game.
Right.
They held them to 9.
Like, the Eagles' defense has become dominant, if you saw the game a couple nights ago, right? So, to me, it's weird. It's almost like, you got a little high on the hog, right?
Yeah.
Where you've got now all of a sudden, because look, I was in Philadelphia, from 93 to 97. I saw the last year of Rich Kotite as the head coach. You guys hated him, rightfully so. I saw the Ray Rhodes Eagles and that one year where you beat the Lions and then you went down to Dallas and got spanked in the second round of the playoffs and had no success from that point on. I saw the Ty Detmer, Philadelphia Eagles, the Rodney Peete, Philadelphia Eagles. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Philadelphia and bad football because you experienced it.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like as a Jet fan. It's all I really know out of a couple of years with Rex Ryan. And if you finally found a guy that is a badass talent, which I think Jalen Hurts is, who's not a me-first guy, and he's also very quiet. He's not a guy that's running his mouth ever. And his only and sole focus is winning football games. And there's people that have a problem with that?
Yes.
Well, then they're the problem. Like, Jalen Hurts isn't the problem. And for Seth Joyner, who, again, I respect, to come out and say it's not just fellow teammates, it's also ownership. If you're Jeff Lurie and you've got a quarterback who only cares about winning and has taken your franchise to 2 Super Bowls and won one and was Super Bowl MVP, you should count your lucky stars that you drafted him and he's an Eagle for life. Because you've had a lot of bad quarterbacks and you've had bad coaches in your tenure. And now you're telling me that because he's not one of the guys, maybe, and I buy that.
Yep.
He's aloof, perhaps.
Aloof because he's thinking about one thing all the time.
You're telling me that there's a handful of guys whose sole focus is not winning. Winning is secondary to their numbers. Those guys are the problem, not the guy that wants to win. No?
I agree with that. The other part is
That's crazy to me.
And Jeff Lurie's a great owner. A great owner.
He has been a fantastic owner.
He's been proven to be, but he is an offensive guy first. If you notice the head coaches he hires, whether it was starting with Andy Reid, going to Chip Kelly, going to Doug Peterson, and now going to Sirianni, he is an offensive guy.
Yep.
When he's in the owner's box up there with Bradley Cooper, he does prefer if they're scoring a lot of points. He wants to win.
Who wouldn't, though?
Right.
Like, do you think Jeff Lurie and Bradley Cooper didn't? Look, it wasn't an entertaining game.
Right.
I think we can all agree on that. And, the story of the game, sadly, was the bad defensive pass interference
At the
call
very end,
against the Lions on what might have been, a chance for the Lions to get the Rock back. But you won.
You won.
And we've come in here every week like the Eagles. Oh, the offense didn't look great. Hey, the offense is kind of broken. Hey, what's wrong with the offense? And to me, the problem's not Jalen Hurts. The problem's Kevin Patullo, which is why I told you a month ago, go hire Brian Dable today and let him be your offensive coordinator for the rest of the season. Because this offense with Kellen Moore was awesome. And you got the same dudes playing, right?
Right.
You still got Dallas Goedert. You still got Saquon Barkley. You still got Devontae Smith.
And A.J. Brown.
You still got A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
You still got the quarterback. The problem to me is not that you have a quarterback that wants to win. The problem to me is you got some other selfish jackasses in that locker room that stats are more important than wins. And you've got an offensive coordinator that stinks. That's the problem.
It's part of the problem.
I could fix this problem today. Quick meeting. Everybody. If your stats are more important than winning, I will trade you to the Panthers. Who wants to go? Not a single hand will go up. Who wants to play for the Raiders? Not a single hand will go up. So how about you all shut up, enjoy winning, and concentrate on that like my starting quarterback does. What a bunch of wackos in Philadelphia. Not surprising. Not surprising.
Let's play our game of buy or sell. It has been a season to remember for Drake May. As of right now, May and Matthew Stafford are the favorites to win the NFL's MVP. Who had that at the beginning of the year? You probably could go through 20 quarterbacks before you got to Drake May as predicting winning the MVP. After this season, buy or sell, we will think of Drake May as the best quarterback in the 2024 draft class. Is this buy or sell? He certainly wasn't going in.
All right, for those who don't know, we're talking May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. A lot of interest there, right? A lot of interest there as far as those QBs. He's going to be the best. I mean, this is a question I would normally just take the field, right? Because I'll assume that Jaden Daniels has been really good. While he's hurt now. Caleb Williams, he's getting better and better. I'm still not giving up hope on the other three here as far as Penix, McCarthy, and Nix, although I would certainly have May well above them. So I think for me, it's either Daniels, it's either Williams, it's either May. Isn't this recency bias? Last year we would have, it's Daniels. By far, it's Daniels. Now because he's hurt, hasn't had a good year, it's Drake May. I'll sell this just for the sake of it, Craig here, but I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah, I'm going to sell. I got Jaden Daniels still. I can't go this far with Drake May. Maybe second best, but it's not even about taking the field. We're having recency bias here. Jaden Daniels, to me, will still be awesome. So next year for Daniels goes back ahead of Drake May.
Fantasy Sports Today, Friday starting at 3 p.m. only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. Some random stuff, but let me stick with football first. Something happened yesterday that's got Giants fans all crazy right now. So last night was John Cena's final ever appearance for Raw, right?
Yes, on Raw.
And apparently it was like the most successful gate they've had in a long, long time. I'm sure ratings were awesome. But one of the storylines that didn't involve John Cena were a couple of wrestlers jawing with some people in the crowd.
Yes.
And the people in the crowd, there was Andrew Schultz, the comedian.
Yep.
You may know, right? And next to Andrew Schultz, there was Cam Scatterboo.
Yes.
The star running back for the Giants, who, by the way, dislocated his ankle and is in a walking boot and is slowly recovering and won't play football again this year. And Cam Scatterboo is standing next to Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter is the guy I told you about last week. I think the video even went viral. Who said that he wanted Lawrence Taylor's number when he got drafted, and he was going to be better than LT was for the Giants. And then when they said, no, you can't have LT's number, he said, I'll take Phil Simms' number. Like, you can't have Phil, right? And he's got half a sack this year and like 3 tackles. He's having a horrendous rookie season based on the expectation coming out of Penn State as one of the top defensive players in college football. It comes out yesterday that Abdul Carter has been sleeping at the facility and missing meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a big report that came out in New York yesterday, that a guy who's having a terrible rookie season for the Giants has also been missing meetings.
Yes, he claims he was getting treatment, but the word out of the building is he's sleeping during any kind of walkthrough.
He's sleeping. He's taking a nap. He's very, very tired. Yeah, I can't be bothered to do practice. I've got half a sack. You know how hard it is to get half a sack in your rookie season?
Yeah.
So obviously, Giant fans rightfully so pissed at him. You're not having a good year and you're not acting like a professional.
Yeah.
And the story that came out earlier this morning, again, backing that up, was that Brian Dable tolerated it. Yeah. That they didn't punish him or let him know how important it was to actually be awake for team meetings and walkthroughs and things of that nature. So you figure if you're Abdul Carter, you're going to lay low for a little bit because now you've been embarrassed, right? And he put out something on Twitter that he then deleted saying, don't believe all the nonsense, it's BS. And then he deleted it because it's not BS apparently. Whatever, it's a bad look across the board. So I'm watching Raw last night, as I like to do, and there's Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah.
And he gets into like a fake tussle with one of the wrestlers. And I'm like, isn't that dude in a walking boot?
I didn't like getting physical.
Right?
Getting in the face, I didn't like getting physical.
I'm not saying you have to live the life of a hermit.
Right.
And it's your night off. And if you want to go to an event, go. I want to be clear about that. But, dude, we're paying you millions of dollars.
You're getting physical.
And you're recuperating from an injury.
Yeah.
You can politely decline the physical part of being on Raw.
Right.
Where you push the wrestler and he comes back and pushes you back.
What if he falls and hurt? Like, just why are you getting physical?
Now, I get it. You're a 22-year-old kid. I totally get it.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. It's your night off. Do what you want. But you also got to be smart.
Right.
Right? Okay, so and I know he was at the UFC fight Saturday night at the Garden.
Don't mind that either.
No problem.
Don't mind that.
Because no one's coming out of the cage to give you some rope-a-dope.
Right.
Or put you in a Camaro hold or whatever the hell it's called, right? All right?
Yeah.
So now you're getting into it physically with these wrestlers.
Right.
You don't know how that's going to go.
Right.
And then the dude standing next to him, again, it's his night off. I imagine they got an appearance fee to do it. So maybe they got $5,000, $10,000, I don't know. I'm sure they got paid to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't begrudge them that. But man, if you're Abdul Carter, and the last 48 hours have been about you falling asleep in meetings, you not going to walkthroughs because, again, you're getting some Z's in at the facility, you might want to think about showing up at a major event in New York City and being a part of the show. Because I know how Giants fans are. Giant fans are like, how about less time reading the script for last night's Raw event and more time reading your playbook for the team that pays you?
Of course. And the other part, he could have been low-key. There were a lot of people there who didn't get physical, obviously. They will also put you up in a suite.
Absolutely right.
Instead, not only is he there, he puts on the belt.
Right.
So now you're drawing more attention to yourself. You put on the Giants championship belt, and then you're in the middle of the melee, the melee with the Judgment Day.
And I would say this. Hey, look, they're both young players. They're both rookies, and neither one of them are New York guys. So let me just walk you through this real quick if I can. All right. When you're 2-9, let that sink in. When you're 2-9, the flex is not go to Madison Square Garden and participate in an event. That's not the time to do it. And I can promise you that when you do turn things around, when you start playing better, when your team starts winning games, we will roll out the red carpet for you and welcome you to every venue and every event with the applause as if you're a conquering hero back from war.
Yep, every Knicks game.
Because that's
every
how
Rangers
it goes
game.
in New York. We will treat you like gold. Your money will be no good. And you'll sit on the wood at the Garden for every Knick game you want to go to. But when you're 2-9 and you've got a dislocated ankle and you're sleeping in meetings, perhaps you should say, I'll come to the next event.
Yeah.
Or I'll go to a suite and watch it as your guest. I appreciate that, but I'm not participating in the event. Is that too much to ask for?
It wasn't too much to ask, and I wanted to get your opinion because I happened to switch during that moment. It was a time in the game where it's commercial, and when I see them getting physical, I'm sitting there going, well, hold on.
I said the same thing.
What if he was just a trip? Like something, you just push it back and forth. You already, you can't hold yourself
By the way,
up.
when he pushed the wrestler, Scatterboo, the dude legitimately fell down.
Right.
So if you get pushed, like again, you got a walking boot on, your ankle ain't right yet.
Right.
You could barely wiggle your toes.
Right.
Just like be there, enjoy the moment.
Right.
Enjoy your newfound celebrity. I'm good with all that stuff.
All that stuff.
But, if I'm a Giants fan and I want you back on the field, I don't want you getting pushed by a wrestler at the Garden.
Just why take the chance?
That's all I'm
and
saying.
then Carter, unfortunately, on this one, you have to go to the suite because the people want it. Obviously, nobody works 24/7, but you want the fans to think you are.
Yes, I
whether
want
it's
you
true or not.
thinking, drinking, eating, sleeping, football. Now,
Right.
Scatterboo's a little different because he's hurt.
Right.
And that kid's just an all-in dude.
Absolutely.
So there's no one's debating his want to.
Yeah, his was just
but
participating.
Abdul Carter, people are questioning it because, the sources came out. No one's denying it now. And he even deleted the denial that, dude, you can't fall asleep. I used to work with a guy on radio. I used to fall asleep
I know who
every
you're
night.
talking about.
Is my dear friend Gary Cobb, G. Cobb.
Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, that's right. You know the story. One night, real quick, he falls asleep, snoring on the air. I give him an elbow. He wakes up and he goes, Randall Cunningham. And I go, Gary, the caller asked you about the Philadelphia Flyers. And in rhythm, he goes, Randall could have played hockey. He was a great athlete. That's my main man, G. Cobb. Good dude. All right, coming up, J.J. Redick hates Bronny James. We'll explain. And LeBron's coming back. All that next, right here on The Carton Show. Don't go anywhere.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In the 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I bet he couldn't get up to 40.
You really it was you that did it. I mean, this Rodriguez should have been the bell cow in the second half. Couldn't even get a touchdown. Like, if he scores, I'm good. You put this Krusky Merritt in.
I'm not.
It's like you bought something at the dollar store. That's this guy, Krusky Merritt.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here, as always. One last NFL note. I guess the Zapruder film came back with a full confirmation that Jamar Chase did indeed spit on Jalen Ramsey, which is why Jalen Ramsey punched him in the face mask. 1 game suspension, which cost him about $500,000.
Yeah.
Look, we've said this a million times. You see it right here. The fake back-to-back talking smack. And then you get punched in the face.
Right. I can't even blame Ramsey. I can't.
Dude, you can't. Like, Ramsey should not have been kicked out of the game.
I agree.
He shouldn't have been suspended or fined. I know at the time the refs didn't know.
They didn't know
that he had been spit on. So I'm not blaming the refs for doing what they did. They had no choice in that spot, and it didn't cost Pittsburgh.
But all of us would have did what Ramsey did.
Yeah, like it's the only thing, like the one thing that you can't do to another human being, let alone man to man. You know, if I gave you a backhanded slap across the face, that's bad. You know, the proverbial pimp slap.
Right.
It's bad, but the spit is worse.
Right. It's more respectful, at least.
Yeah.
It's more respectful.
You don't spit in another person's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't even use the excuse, I didn't do it on purpose. No.
Yes, you did.
Now, we know a lot of dudes who talk with a lot of saliva.
Yeah. That wasn't spittle.
It goes all different directions. Right. That's what I spit in your face.
Right.
And if you do that, you got to get punched in the grill.
You have to.
I'm not a violent man.
But you don't have a choice.
But you have no choice, because if you tolerate a spit in the face and go, not that big a deal.
You'll take anything. You'll take anything. Yeah, you'll take anything.
Yeah.
People do anything to you.
You can't walk back into that locker room.
No.
Because the dudes in the locker room be like, yo, that dude spit in your face? Yeah, he did. And you didn't do anything back? Plus, in football, you can't get hurt. You got face masks on.
Yeah.
Look, a lot of dudes don't know how to throw a punch either. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Just, you can go like this. It don't matter to me. I'm telling you, like, third grade people fighting. But you have to.
By rule, you must.
Yeah, now.
By rule.
Can you imagine 2 NFL players
going like that?
Yo, if you do that fast enough, though, that could be a move. You know, it's hard to get those punches in there if a dude's going all windmill on you like that. Quick NBA thing for you. Look, I've taken my shots at Bronny James. I've referred to him as a Make-A-Wish kid in the NBA, and I know that frankly doesn't sit well with a lot of you. But
it's a bit mean.
I think that's kind of what it is, right? But I'm not alone. J.J. Redick doesn't like him either. So he started the other night against the Milwaukee Bucks. Played 10 minutes of the game, was 0 He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, but didn't score. And now it's so bad that he's afraid to shoot, apparently. I think we video this. Play the video. Here's J.J. Redick. Come on. Obviously. And he's almost like Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Like, dude now is maybe a little shell-shocked.
And there's Redick.
And Redick's yelling at him, shoot the effing ball, Bronny.
I mean, look at that. That one's the worst of the two.
Like, he's sitting right there like, I put you in the game because your dad made me.
Well,
but
when
I put you in. You're starting against Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. Shoot the ball when it's open.
And this is where I no longer have any patience for it.
You can't.
If he's missing shots, then hey. But you're not even taking shots.
He's afraid now.
And you can't have that.
And this is why I thought it wasn't right to put him in the spot he's in. He's not ready yet. Look, Bronny James has had some great G League games.
He has.
And I'm not taking any of that away from him.
He has.
He never played college basketball. He had the heart issue.
Yeah, he literally passed away.
And he was like the 9th, 10th man on the USC team. So his run at college was not great, obviously. Part of that's because of the health scare, obviously, right? But, the NBA, they're different cats there, man. These are the greatest players in the world. And while could he beat most kids his age? Of course he could. He's a very good basketball player. He's not just an NBA player yet. And there's a huge difference. So you're forcing this kid in before he is ready because of who his dad is. That's malpractice. And clearly he's in over his head. He's a little shell-shocked because the shots haven't fallen yet. And now he's afraid to shoot because I get it. He doesn't want to hurt the team. And that kid's probably saying to himself internally, I don't want to take a bad shot. I don't want to be a ball hog. I want to pass the rock to someone else who's better than me. And I totally get that, and I respect that. The right thing to do, if you're LeBron who has total control of this, and you're the Lakers, Let the kid play an entire season at the G League and let him blossom. Let him figure out his game against other kids who are right there. They're not quite NBA players yet, but man, they're close. And if you allow that, we can look, he's never going to live without people knowing who he is or hearing it in every gym he's in because you're LeBron's son, much like Shadur and Dion. That's just your lot in life. But let's forget about him for a year. Let him play G League ball. Let him have some great games. Let him perfect his game. And then let's bring him back when he's ready.
Yeah.
Like, he's not embarrassing himself as a basketball player, but he's clearly in over his head. That being said, his dad is coming back. I'm not sure if he's playing tonight or the next game.
Yes, tonight or Sunday.
LeBron wanted to remind everybody, because now people are suggesting there's no place for him on the Laker team. He said, my name's LeBron James, bitches. I play wherever I want to play. I love it.